I'm just going to run through some of the latest news headlines around SEO. So, one of the first things I'm going to kick this off with is that Claude has accidentally allowed indexing on some of the conversations. So, what happened here is basically hundreds, if not thousands, of user conversations with Anthropic's AI, Claude, were accidentally found available inside Google. So, what that means is like, a lot of conversations, and you know how private those conversations can be sometimes. Well, they were accidentally showing up on Google, right? Which is pretty crazy. So if you did like site claude.com, you would actually see the searches and the conversations previously from the chats of Claude, which is pretty wild. Here's an example, right? So you can see that we've got site claude.ai /public/artifacts. And those are basically like just your normal artifacts. But what actually happened is that a bunch of conversations were indexed. So you can see this tweet from Om Patel. And basically, what was happening here is you could type in site /claude.ai /share. So Claude.ai. And then you could see like loads of people's conversations here. I think they must have been taken down now. But from what was going on, this is wild. API keys, credential, crypto wallets. I don't know. I haven't seen any conversations where those sort of things have been pulled up, but apparently people are using it to search that sort of stuff, right? So, for example, some people would be searching a website and then looking for that sort of thing, like API keys that people have put inside a conversation, which is scary stuff because you always think, oh, okay, if I put a API key inside the chat, no one else will have access to it. But actually, things like this can happen even if you don't plan to. And what's happened here is probably that people have shared the conversation, for example, with their team members or, for example, their friends, that one conversation. But the problem is that it then indexed those shareable threads. So the shared pages where you go into Claude and you share, there's no index tag on them, which means that they could index directly on Google, which is pretty crazy. So if you've ever like shared a conversation, that could potentially be exposed to everyone on the internet, as you can see right here. Now, if you actually search claude.ai /share now, you won't find anything, which is good. So they've obviously cleaned it up, but basically people were sharing chats and then they got indexed accidentally. And apparently it was on Reddit that loads of people were finding this. So you can see, for example, someone shared it on Reddit like this, and that was directly on the main Claude Reddit subreddit, and like thousands of users shared conversations were being shared. So some examples like people were creating a crypto wallet and exposing their keys. Someone trying to become a nine-tailed fox, apparently. Some very strange stuff going on apart from that. But yeah, crazy times. So just be careful what you share, people. I would say that is the lesson from that. Mistakes can happen. I know that previously as well, there was actually quite a good hack for like trying to rank on Google. So you could index artifacts before, which meant that you could actually rank with your artifacts created on Claude. I don't think that works so well anymore, but I remember seeing Jesper Nissen doing that previously. It worked really, really well. Next up, we have Boardroom.com, and that actually received a thin content manual action penalty for indexed pages unchanged since 2008. So what happened here is basically like Google applied a manual action to every URL under threads, which is pretty much the entire forum of WindowsForum.com. Now, let's have a look on Ahrefs, see how much traffic it was getting previously. Yeah, so if you look at this, I mean, this is not updated. I mean, this shows you how out of date Ahrefs can be sometimes. But if you look at this, their traffic was growing substantially since March 2025, pretty much 10x, and they were getting 106,000 traffic. And that's basically all been penalized because most of the pages from Windows Forum have now received a penalty for thin content. So it's 168,290 visible threads, over 500,000 posts, some from 20 years ago, suppressed together. This is absolutely brutal. The other thing with these sort of penalties from Google is like they're usually very, very general. So they're not really going to tell you what's wrong or give you examples quite often, but it'll be something like thin content with little or no added value. By the way, I know that because I've had portfolio sites that have been showcasing on YouTube with SEO and they've received a manual action penalty, and what I did was just delete all the content. And then the good thing is with that, like, you still keep the backlinks, you still keep the domain authority. You just lose all the content and kind of have to start again, which is not that bad, to be fair. And now that website actually ranks much better. But this is crazy. And this is actually from WindowsForum themselves. So they've been a member since like 2019. They've been chasing up, so you can see they've been replying to people and said, we continue to try to get a resolution from Google, or at least an explanation of what content has little to no value. And they said, we can see that our pages are mostly now buried on Google as a result of the manual action and have gotten no reply. We are stuck reaching out on the Google Search Console community forum for assistance. Usually those sort of things go unanswered as well, unless there's like a massive PR campaign. So they might get an answer back, but it's going to be very general from what I can imagine. But that is brutal, isn't it? I mean, it's just a forum. They're not even doing anything bad, right? It's just a forum. And they've actually created this page on their /threads folder, which says Google cut this forum search traffic by 82%. So, I mean, it's pretty sad. Like, if you put yourself in their situation, like, they've got this forum. It's pretty normal to have thin content on forum pages. It doesn't look like they were doing anything wrong or malicious with SEO. But on the 24th of July, they got a manual action penalty for content from like 20 years ago. It's crazy. And actually, the traffic drop is not as bad as I can imagine. I thought they'd probably get hit by like 99%, pretty much, but they've got 82%. And they've appealed 5 times with no decision. Brutal. And they didn't get any example pages. So nobody told them, like, okay, this page is wrong or this page needs to improve or whatever. And you can see previously, like, they were getting between, what would I say there, about like 7,000 clicks a day, something like that. And that's just absolutely dropped. You can see when they got the penalty, because the traffic just went bam and then just went down, right? So for like 3 months, they were kind of like stagnating or flat or like slightly going up. And then boom, the traffic just drops. Absolutely brutal. So that is 165,000 discussions to check. Like, imagine trying to monitor and manage that. It must be soul destroying. 501,000 posts inside. So they got many discussions, and then they got all these posts inside it, and it's an archive of 20 years. So what they've done so far is review 68,000 articles one by one, which I don't even know how they've done that. They've deleted 3,000. Do you know what? Like, if they actually go that far and they can demonstrate evidence, I wouldn't be surprised if they do get their traffic back just for that reason. And also, I've seen it getting a lot of attention recently, especially on Reddit. So it's one of those, like, they might get the traffic back, but at the same time, have I seen anything reverse like that publicly at this level? Not really. Let's see. But I hope it goes well for them. That is really, really bad news. And sorry to hear that. It's pretty sad. You know, like, I have seen a lot of small publishers just get pushed out the game over the last few years. Like, I had a few friends who were running different websites, and do you know what? Like, I learned SEO in Thailand, in Chiang Mai SEO, in Chiang Mai, not in Chiang Mai SEO. And when I was living there, like, all the SEOs I knew used to publish their own websites, create affiliate content. They were, for example, a lot of them were building like affiliate websites. A lot of them using like Authority Hacker courses and stuff like that. Even myself, I went through the Authority Hacker course, like, great course back in the day. I don't know anyone still using that model anymore. Like, literally no one. Everyone from just 3 years ago got wiped out after the helpful content update. And I feel like they're just squeezing smaller publishers more and more and more and more. Also, what I'd be interested to know is when they get a penalty, do they also get removed from AI mode? I would assume so. But then at the same time, they'll probably be getting a lot of traffic from Copilot and these other AI search engines. So if they de-index the rest of the content, then the problem is that they basically, and by de-index, I mean the actual owner of the website. Like, let's say the owner of the website deletes all the content. Well, they stop getting all the traffic from ChatGPT and everywhere else, which is a massive risk in itself. And so it's like, what do you do? Do you delete stuff? Do you change stuff? How do you manage thousands of articles? Hopefully they get it sorted out. Now, we also have Google and SERP API. So what happened? There was basically a court case, right? And there was like uh, a DMCA case against Scraper SERP API, ruling the search results are public facts. And the thing that this is pretty interesting. So it's been like basically what happened is like I think Scrape API was scraping Google search results and reselling it as structured data, right? And that was on the 20th of July, this court case. Now, Google actually sued them in December under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, as you can see in this article from the Next Web, arguing SERP API circumvented its anti-bot defenses to lift copyrighted material. However, one of the things to note here is that what the court found is that the search results are not copyrighted material. Now, I don't see like how Google would stop there. I think they'll probably keep going, but they only have 21 days to refile on a smaller claim, covering the license snippets that sometimes appear in its knowledge panels, right? And even if they do that, they have to argue that those panels are copyrighted content that it is authorized to protect. So what that means essentially is like Google, it uses other publishers' content to serve the answers inside the knowledge panels, inside the queries. And the thing is, like, they are using those answers to train the AI, but it's not their content to protect, right? It's not their copyrighted content in the context of this situation. Now, I'm no legal expert, so, if I've got this totally wrong, feel free to correct me inside the comments. But from what I can understand, basically, SERP API was scraping Google, but Google must have scraped other websites to get access to that data. And I know there was a big discussion before about like how to block, for example, AI and AI LLMs from scraping your website, and it didn't really work, whatever you tried to do. So it's a weird situation where Google uses other publishers' content, right? Like that's their business model. And this article actually argues that the irony is like, it's right there, right? Like Google spent 2 decades scraping publishers to build a search empire and is now using copyright law to stop a company doing something similar to Google. Now, I don't. This is the take of the article. So this is an article by NextWeb and Alina Maria, but it is very interesting to see what's going on here. And I don't see how Google would just sit back. I think they'll go again. And also, Reddit filed a near identical DMCA against SERP API and Perplexity last year. So this is not the first time this happened, but this particular court case was chucked out as well. And then I'll just show you a quick update on some of the sites that are popping off for me. So if we have a look here, we've got 4 sites that are doing pretty well right now. So these are all websites that we started from scratch. Bear in mind, like the AI Profit Boardroom, it gets a lot of branded traffic, right? People are actively searching for that AI community. They find out Google, and then they might listen to a podcast or watch a YouTube video, but then they're just searching on their phone for the AI Profit Boardroom. So, like, don't get me wrong, this is not all like search traffic directly from keywords that we're ranking for. Having said that, a lot of these keywords, for example, like Hermes Workspace, Hermes Jarvis, GLM 5.2 Hermes, Hermes Agentic OS, they're very targeted keywords, and I've seen a lot of sales coming in through this website. And also, like, I really love the trajectory that it's going on. Like, I mean, last week it hit a new peak of 284 clicks. And bear in mind, like, this website was at 4 clicks a day back in November. So this really shows you the trajectory of scaling a website at this point. Like, this is not a massive domain rating website. It doesn't have a lot of authority behind it. It has a few backlinks pointing to it. It's done pretty well since, and it also seems to be continuing to grow, which is awesome. I do think that it's got massive advantage because of the branded traffic and also the backlinks we built to it. But at the same time, this model still works, and it's also driving traffic to our community, so hooray. And then we have another example here. This is the AI Success Lab, juliangoldie.com. And then if we have a look here, 0 clicks back in, when was the last time we got 0 clicks? Well, we got 1 click back in November. So it's a similar sort of timeline, actually. And that's grown to 92 clicks a day. So what's that? 8 months? 8 months, we're in the end of July now, and it's grown to this level. So pretty happy with that too. Again, let's have a look what we got here. So you can see, like, we are getting some branded traffic here, but similar sort of keywords that we're ranking for inside the SERPs as well. What I like to do is create content at the same time for multiple websites using this system, and then the traffic goes up. Here's another one. This one is not quite as successful, as you can see. Like, it's only at 7 clicks a day. So it's not doing that well, but we only started that at March, right? So I would expect that to really start popping off and growing in around, I would say, September. I think it does still take about 6 to 7 months to get a decent amount of traffic. And this is another example, right? So this is the another similar website. We publish similar sort of content, but unique each time. And that's getting 32 clicks a day. And again, like, we started back in November here. So it's an age domain and it's getting 32 clicks a day. And again, nice trajectory right there. And these are some of the keywords we're ranking for. So exciting times. Anyway, if you want a free SEO strategy session, feel free to book that in. Link in the comments and description, or just go to goldie.agency to book in a free SEO strategy session. We'll just look at your website, give you some tips, show you what we can do based on what's working for us. It's not me, it's my team who does the calls. You can jump on like a one-to-one call, get a custom tailored game plan. This is only if you're interested in hiring us for as an agency. I don't want to waste your time or anything like that. You'll discover the secrets to SEO link building. We'll answer any questions you have. You'll learn the best link building strategy for your website, plus how to increase your SEO traffic. So feel free to get that. And also, if you like this sort of stuff and you want some training on it, feel free to check out the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or just go to the AIprofitboardroom.com. We've got 4 weekly coaching calls, loads of SEOs inside there. You can post inside the community, get help, get support, ask questions. I answer them personally every day. And then there's people online 24/7 to help you. And then also inside the classroom, you can get access to all of our best trainings on this stuff. So we do like new daily updates over here. We have a full section on AI SEO automation and all of our best systems, as you can see. And then also lots of great SEOs to connect with, and just a fun place to connect with people locally as well. So you can connect with people in your local area who are building with AI SEO and agents like me. And, if you want to learn more about my strategies, feel free to direct message me inside there. Thanks for watching.